So I'll stand for pledge of allegiance, please. Thanks, Danny, clerk. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Eric.
Thank you for having me tonight. Jesus said in John 12:26, "Whoever serves me must follow me, and where I am, my servant also will be. My Father will honor the one who serves me." So Heavenly Father, Almighty God, I welcome you into this meeting this evening to remind this council that they are not only leaders, but also servants of our Lord. For they have been called to serve the common good of all. Grant them the wisdom and courage to know and do what is right and good and true. May they always be guided by the spirit of community, by the spirit of justice, by the spirit of love. Father, grant us the humility to always seek your will in all that we do and say. In the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you, Eric. Have the minutes for us here. Do I have a motion to accept them?
Make a motion to accept the meeting minutes.
All those in favor, do you have a second? I'm sorry.
I second it.
Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Do we have any mail? Nothing? Our county attorney have anything for us?
Not tonight, not yet at least.
Not yet. Okay. Committee reports. Are our commissioners here?
Dale's
hiding back there.
Munson's hiding behind the podium.
Yes, it's me. Wasn't a whole lot to discuss today. We did meet, have a gentleman, Todd,
Jennings.
Jen, was here, and he's talking about the transportation from the senior center being joined with Union County. And he's talking like that it's pretty much a done deal, that they will set it all up. We have to go through the agreement with Union County on it, but it's all through the state to get the funding and everything we have been getting. We have to this merge with Union County. Other than that, I believe that was about all that was mainly discussed.
Okay.
What agency was he from? I watched it online.
I have.
Department of Transportation.
And
Did you meet with the people on the jail also over here?
yes, and we met with her this morning, myself and Dale. There was 2 change orders, and they're checking into both of them. One of them was for the doors on the cells. They were putting food tray doors into them. And then also they changed the window size in the doors. But we're trying to find out who asked for that, what that cost is going to be. So everything's pretty much tabled right now until they get back with some answers to that. What was the other? Well, the other change was on the bathroom on the unsecured side has to have a wall changed on it so it can be washed. That's where they do part of the testing at, and we're trying to get a different price on it. Their price was a little over $6,000 to do just two sides of the wall, and they're trying to get that price down to get us a better deal on that. So that was also on hold.
So when you say merge with Union County, what is that? What's that doing?
It's the Union County, all the funding through the state will go to Union County, then they will send that money back to us. Instead of the state sending the money to each individual county or organization, there will be a certain county, which for us will be Union County. They will get the money and then they will send it, divide it back out. They told us that all monies will stay just like it is now. Just it will be sent to Union County, then it's sent out. And that's going to be done over the next, 2 years. clear across the whole state.
Okay. So, is that it then?
That was about it, wasn't it?
Okay, good job, Neil, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Transfers, additions, and reductions. There's an additional appropriation request to County General Fund. Commissioners, account 30970, service contracts, $30,000. You're needing $30,000, Dale?
According to the county auditor who keeps the books, yes, we do.
For what, Dale?
Well, the
Just
original
to have enough.
appropriation just wasn't enough to meet all of our expenses.
Okay. Was there anything in particular taking a big hunk of it, Dale?
I'm not prepared to name anything in particular, Bob. James is in a much better position to answer that question for you than I am. She deals with this stuff on a daily basis. She sees the bills come in, and we rely on her to keep us out of trouble there. So if she's telling us that, oh, we're out of money in this fund, we're out.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve.
Can you elaborate, Jane?
You know, no, I wasn't prepared to give more explanation. You know, that's why y'all get the stuff ahead of time, so you can ask these questions ahead of time, so we can be prepared. But I can see, like, we transferred $16,000 out of that fund earlier in the year into a different fund to cover something that right now I can't tell exactly where we had to transfer that to. But that's partly why we now have a shortfall there, is because we robbed Peter to pay Paul, and now Peter doesn't have enough money.
Okay. Jim, did you make a motion to?
Mike did.
Mike did, I'll second it. Okay, you seconded, okay. Got a motion seconded to pay the $30,000. Have any other objections? Okay. So all those in favor of transferring $30,000 over to commissioners?
It's appropriation.
Appropriations, additional appropriations. Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, okay.
The reason I was bringing it up is so the people on camera could know what we're talking about.
Right.
Just FYI.
I understand that, and had you asked ahead of time, I would have been prepared to fully explain that.
Okay, we have an additional appropriation request to County General Fund 1000 Superior Court, account 30031, for an interpreter for $4,000.
Stupid, that's me.
Okay, Paul?
Not a lot to say there. Spanish language defendants. And also, I haven't had this come up yet, but recent training, I don't agree with this, but there's a lot of laws that I don't agree with that have anything to do with it. There's recent cases that suggest that the court is required to provide interpreters even for people of interest in the audience who do not have adequate English
On a
language.
daily basis.
I always thought, well, you bring somebody who can whisper in your ear. You're not a litigant. You don't have a dog in the fight. Well, I can get that stuff to you if you want, but it hasn't come up yet. I've never spent any money that way. It's always just been on someone who's actually on criminal charges or protective orders, of which there are far more now than there used to be. So I think that we have a couple bills. There's an attorney out of Shelbyville that does a lot of that work for us, named Tyler Brandt, well known to your county attorney. Does an excellent job for us and is rather efficient and cheap considering the distance he comes and the fact that he's bilingual and also a well-known, highly qualified defense attorney in any language. So we're glad to have him at the
Who puts these things out to you, Paul? I mean, who tells you?
State Court Administration.
Well, if the state court administration wants to put up the funding to far as
They don't.
additional interpreters, that'd
They
be
don't,
helpful.
Bob, I guarantee you they don't.
Well, they put the rule down on us, but they don't support their,
You're the smaller unit of government, just
Yeah.
like the feds do unfunded mandates on the states, the state does unfunded mandates on the county.
Sure.
You should start picking on the townships, I don't know what you need to do.
okay. Okay, well,
I'll make the motion, we approve the $4,000 additional appropriation for interpreters.
Second.
okay. Got a motion and a second to approve the appropriation.
Okay.
What?
I was asking who seconded it.
Okay,
Mike.
okay. Any more comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, all those opposed? Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you.
We have a request, additional appropriation request to County General Fund 1000 probation account 30062, contracted detention cost, $40,000.
Yes, sir. I'm hoping that this is an anomaly and not the new norm. We've seen
So
a
do we.
sharp rise in violent, dangerous offenses being committed by juveniles in Fayette County. We currently have 5 children detained. I'm being told by local law enforcement they are currently investigating more juveniles who are stealing guns and driving down roads and just shooting them out the windows at random in residential areas. So I'm probably going to have to detain those kids once they're identified and arrested. And as of today, I've requested $40,000, and Crystal ran the numbers for me. And as of right now, we are negative $38,900. So I've spent almost every dime of this if you approve it. So I guess we'll have to see you next month if we can't get something done. I can't find any suitable placements for these kids that are DCS paid. There aren't resolutions in their cases to where we could release them onto lower levels of supervision. And frankly, they're all dangerous. We have one child battered his mother with a crowbar, other that strangled his mother, another one committed child molest, another one, 2 of them were stealing guns out of unlocked cars, and we don't know where the guns are. So
You're not trying to find homes for these kids, are you?
No, we're trying to find placements and facilities that are not paid for by Fayette County.
Yeah.
And we are hitting wall after wall after wall. I've never seen anything like this 10 years ago. I would have been swamped when I was doing this 10 years ago, but I would have found placements for them all by now. They're just not beds. Wormley used to hold several hundred kids, and now I think they're down to like 50. They're just, no one wants to do the jobs, just like anywhere else. I mean, I can't blame them. I wouldn't want to work that kind of job for $14, $15 an hour, dealing with 50, 60 kids at a time, all there for criminal matters. So we're trying our best. I know Darian has a couple that are going in for diagnostic evaluation, which will hopefully turn into a placement, or where they're going for the diagnostics, also have treatment, so hopefully they can kind of be a, yes, we diagnose you, you qualify for our program, you'll stay. That's what she's trying to do. We're getting with our DCS service consultant to see if we can get some placements done without full psychological evaluations. They can sometimes pull strings for us to where we wouldn't have to wait on those, because that's our big thing. You ask for a D&E and the places come back, yeah, well, we'll do one for you in November, or 1st of next year. And we can't wait that long. They can't sit in detention, for months and months at a time because we're footing that bill. So we're doing everything we can. I'm just really hoping this is not the new normal, because last year I think we gave you back $5,000 or $10,000. We didn't spend our lot. So this is.
Have you looked at, probably already done this already, but is there any fat you can do transfer?
I'm sorry.
Is there any place you got a little extra fat you can transfer, possibly to help offset some of this?
There might be a little bit from our vehicle fund from last year. I know we didn't spend quite everything that we had allotted for that. Other than that, it's just salaries in that account. So those are all the state minimums. So
If you were to take a wild guess, what do you think that might be for your vehicle?
just a few $1,000s.
Every little bit helps, so.
Yeah, I might be able to retransfer that. But if we look at the liabilities. But, yeah, so hopefully we can get this sorted out and not have to keep coming back on that. If any of you know the commissioners in Henry County, I know Commissioner Strong forwarded an email from us. They are contemplating reopening their detention center. That would save the county, not necessarily the detention fees, but right now the Sheriff's Department is doing all of our transports for us. That's a lot of man time, overtime pay that's being taking these kids to and from Muncie or Columbus, Indiana, Vigo County, places like that hold detention. If we could have some place that close. Crystal and I kind of did the middle math. That would probably save anywhere from 1.5 to 2 hours of overtime per transport. because they're calling in jail officers and people like that to transport these kids for us, because the facilities used to transport and they cut that. That was one of the first things they cut when they couldn't get employees. Kind of between a rock and a hard place.
Any more questions? Comments? I have a motion to accept the appropriation.
I'll make the motion.
A second.
Okay, have a motion second to appropriate
We're
$40,000.
gonna get $40,000.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Mike asked a
Opposed?
question.
So I gotta do where we're gonna get $40,000. We got 120 coming next.
120 to a different fund.
I was always really asked the question of where we're gonna get the money from. Do we have it available to us, Jane, in general? Okay. That's all I wanted to know. So the motion second, we're voting.
No. Just the sheriff's department in it. 120.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that one's next.
Did we finish the vote?
It's a different fund. Did you vote?
We voted, we approved it, 40,000.
I don't think, no, we didn't. We got the first and the second, we need to do a vote.
I think it's gonna be unanimous.
So
Yeah,
all those in
must
favor
be.
signify by saying aye. I think everybody's
Aye.
At least we get it right, right?
There
Right.
you go.
Just wanted to make sure, that's all.
Okay.
Okay,
Good.
I'm going to jump in here really quick. So on the almost 60,000 that was transferred out of service contracts earlier in the year, some of that went to examination of records to pay for State Board of Account audits. That's something we have no control over. They bill us, we have to pay it. 6,000 of that went to other services, and 9,000 of it went to legal services. So that's one reason for the shortfall. We transferred out to other funds. So does that answer all the questions? Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. Additional appropriation request to Lit Congressional Rehabilitation Fund 1233, account 30070, meals for prisoners, 120,000. Now, we just did that last month, didn't we?
We took some money out of our misdemeanor fund
Okay.
last meeting to pay the bills. And now to get us through the rest of the year, we're going to need, what we're guessing, about $120,000 to get us through the rest of this year. For some reason, last year we had to ask for an additional. This year, for some reason, keep asking for $180,000. I'm not sure if that's what we asked for, if that's what the council gives us, but it's not enough. Obviously, we spent $260 last year. We're looking at probably close to $300,000 this year. The hope, in this budget for next year, I've asked for, I think it was $270,000 to feed the inmates, because we can't just keep asking for $180. I don't want to come back and ask for an additional. So with the new company we got, savings with the commissary we're going to go to, hopefully we can save some money. But again, when you go to the grocery store, everything is more expensive now. So we're feeding these guys for, currently it's around $1.96 a meal. I think that's what it was, $1.97 a meal, I think. And starting next year, I think we're going to knock that down to, I think it's $1.86 a meal. So, and that pays for the food, the cook, the staff, for the kitchen. That pays for everything.
How many are you feeding today?
Our average daily population is around 130 to 135. So 130 inmates, 3 meals a day, 365 days a year. Looking at a lot of meals.
Okay. Just ask the question, next year, how much reduction do you think you're going to have in the population of yours if the new facilities open over here?
I'm hoping that the community corrections part of it is going to, I hope we fill that place up and we have 20 of our females go there, but whatever we get rid of in our jail,
We're going to have to pay for over there too.
we'll gain. I don't look at our population going anywhere. 130 is our average daily population for the last 6, 7, 8 years. So So that's what we average. There's times we go up to 180, there's times we go down to 104, 105. But 130 is what we average.
Okay. I see the problem. Any more questions for Zach?
I'll make a motion to approve the additional appropriation from
A second.
account 1233 to account 3070 for $120,000.
Okay, we've had a motion made by Kay and had a second by Sharon. Any more comments? All those in favor of the appropriation, $120,000, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Okay, now, you're aware of the fact that 6:30 we're going to adjourn this meeting and go into budget, so this next group here is all going to be looked at together. They're asking for $3,580 altogether. And the list is right there.
He's got that in that fund account, that grant fund.
So the funding for this is state funds that the state contributes, and every year I'll have to appropriate the funds that the state gives me. This is the funding, the 3580, 36 is funding that was left over from my predecessor, and those funds were never spent. What I'm doing is establishing a budget through this appropriation for the LEPC, or the Local Emergency Planning Committee.
Okay. Any questions? Okay. Do I have a motion to appropriate the,
I'll make a motion to, for the additional appropriation of 358036. And the right to know, and the right to know for the,
goes to Fund 1152? Have a second?
for EMA.
Mine.
Okay. Have a motion second by Sharon to appropriate the funding needed to $3,480.36. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Courthouse Operating Fund. Account 4651, purchase gas and diesel, $300.
Motion to
You
approve.
can do all three together.
Do all three of those together also? Okay. Didn't tell me that, okay, all right. $5,000 to other supplies. Repair and maintenance, $8,000.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we've had a motion to accept it. A second. Any more comments? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. No 144s. Reminder of the budget meeting on September the 19th, final business meeting. Okay. New business employee benefit recommendations.
Yeah, you know, I know we're kind of short on time, so I'll try to make this as quick as possible, but, you know, none of us we've been going through these budgets over the last few weeks, and none of us are really happy with the numbers or what we can and can't do for our employees. But Councilwoman Payton mentioned something after the one of our last sessions. And gee whiz, wouldn't it be nice if we had an employee appreciation program? And you know, I was gently reminded, indirectly, that that's a commissioner role and not a council one. But I still think it's a good idea that she had. It's not. It doesn't have to be a financial, but a pat on the back and saying an attaboy, attagirl publicly. Whether it be for good work, and you know, longevity has its place, but good work too. It doesn't cost that much to say thank you. And I really hope that the commissioners will pick up on that and do something with it. But there's one other thing. I'm going to bring it up later in the in our budget discussion here in a few minutes. But regarding employee benefits, and it's nothing new, and commissioners would have to act on this as well. But I don't know. It's not a new idea. So I'm hoping that if we give them the green light to do it, they'll pick up on it. So tonight I want to make a motion at our regular October meeting. We consider a resolution. I wrote this down so I didn't forget anything. We consider a resolution formally asking the commissioners to revise the employee handbook, specifically adding a sentence to the final paragraph of Chapter 4, Section 15, to read, quote, as of January 1, 2024, members of the Fayette County Council are considered part-time employees, making them ineligible for full-time health care insurance benefits, unquote. Title 5, Article 10, Chapter 6, Section 1, Subsection B of the Indiana Code gives the county commissioners responsibility to determine who gets what employee benefits. An ordinance passed in late December 1989 established the employee handbook where these benefits are outlined. Over the years, the handbook has been revised a few times. The last revision was in October 2020. In Fayette County, we consider a full-time employee to be someone who works 33.5 hours weekly. In Indiana, it is legal to consider all elected officials as full-time employees. The law does not delineate. In the case of surveyor, recorder, assessor, treasurer, auditor, clerk, that's very much the case. They are full-time jobs. I've done this job for 2.5 years, and county council is very much a part-time job. Council having access to these full-time benefits is an expensive political perk that needs to end now. This practice is unfair to our employees, but especially to our constituents. Currently, we have part-time employees with us for over a decade who have no access to these benefits, nor would they ever in that particular role. Today, true full-time employees are required to work hundreds of hours more annually for the same benefits we have access to. Given our inability to improve their salaries, the least we can do is end this unfair practice. More importantly, it's unfair to people of Fayette County. If one of our 7 wanted a family plan, the county share of that cost would be around $27,000. An employee spouse plan would cost approximately $19,000. Even a single plan costs around $9,000. This means our citizens are on the hook for anywhere from between $63,000 and $189,000 annually. Over a 4-year term, that's between $250,000 and $750,000 just for these 7 people, these 7 part-time people. If you folks will agree to consider this at our next meeting, I'll offer a plan later tonight at our budget meeting that will affect all of us, not just those currently accessing this benefit. In full disclosure here, I don't take the benefit. Madam Auditor, you have my full permission to show anyone who asks that my payroll records prove I'm telling the truth. It provided much needed budgetary relief to 911, give the 911 a 6th dispatcher they've been screaming for since before I got here, and do it in such a way to put us in a much better negotiation position with the city moving forward regarding 911. My motion does not require any of you to publicly disclose your current status regarding this practice, nor will a resolution require the commissioners to act. However, if we pass this kind of resolution and adopt a budget that calls for the end of the pork, the commissioners will be hard-pressed not to act, and act they must. It all starts now, though. If you're unwilling to consider this kind of resolution, my budgetary plan will be for naught. In conclusion, our constituents look at us as community leaders. When stuff hits the fan, they expect us to put ourselves on the line first. Tonight, I'm asking you to truly live up to that expectation. And if my motion is seconded, I'd request a roll call vote.
Well, we'll have to wait until we reconvene because it's time to go to a budget meeting.
Gotcha.
So this is recessed until after the budget meeting, okay?
Can we?
You could have finished that, I think you could have finished that.
Yeah,
Pardon me, Mike?
I do
I
too.
think you could have finished that,
Yeah.
because it kind of
As long
leaves, it kind of leaves.
as long as you don't start the next meeting before you advertise it, you're okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so we don't have to recess this one. We can finish this one, he said.
You told me I had to stop at
I know.
6:30.
I
You
did,
said
I'm
stop
sorry.
it at 6:30. What
He's
you
the
told
legal
me.
expert.
Well, he can go back to Russia. I'm telling you. Okay.
No, well, especially with the motion on the table, though, I think you have to at least take
It
a
hadn't been
take a
seconded
second.
yet.
And he
We had a
recessed
chance
it.
to.
You want to reconvene the council meeting? Okay. Put your motion out there.
Motion is out there, I second it, and I applaud Councilman Bevington on his worded his description there. I think though, for clarification purposes, it needs to be noted that I too, it's public record for anybody to read, and do not, nor have I ever taken the health insurance, because that's exactly the same belief that I have that Councilman Bevington just shared. I never felt that I deserved it or was entitled to it. Some people in this county work too hard for that same benefit that I'm afforded that I do not take, and I appreciate his comment and putting this forward.
Well, I appreciate the comment, but I have a comment because I disagree. Because I do take the insurance because I didn't have a choice. Because I'm self-employed, and my insurance states that, and I was paying $600 a month with a $6,000 deductible, with no dental, and no eye, and no prescription. And because I'm self-employed and the money that my husband and I make, I qualify for nothing. Well, in my state plan, whatever you want to call it, if there is a place that offers insurance, I don't have a choice. So what I do with the money for the council is I just do nothing more than pay for insurance. So there's a lot of different situations that contingents upon that.
I'm in the same boat, Sharon.
So I don't have a choice when it was offered. So I lost all of my other insurance because I had to take this insurance. I did not have a choice. So therefore, and I'm not old enough, I still have a year and a half before I turn 65. So in that essence, so I think before stuff like this passes, I think people need to be talked about and talked to find out the best. Did I take this job for insurance? I didn't even know it had insurance until I got a letter stating I had to take it. So I had no idea.
Everybody airing their laundry here.
Well, I'm not airing laundry, it's the facts. I don't care who knows it.
Would it be okay to say those that are currently taking it, they'd be grandfather claused in to continue it until they're either not reelected or they step down?
Mike, can I say one thing?
Sure.
I take the insurance. But we went through this before. I think he was on the council too. The attorney came back and says,
the resolution wasn't worded properly, and it was put in my lap to word it, and the attorney didn't review it properly, and that was the case there, and it was never represented to the commissioners again. It did pass the commissioners, but my big thing was exactly what Sharon's saying. We don't know everybody's situation, and I would just say that as long as you're serving, those that are currently elected would be grandfather clause to continue receiving the benefit if they so choose. But upon if they're not reelected or they decide to step down, then it would end with them. They would get a chance. So if Jim was running for office again in 4 years or whatever, even though he was on the council before there was that lapse, he wouldn't be eligible for it. I mean, I think that's more fair than those just saying you're done.
Drop it.
I also want to add too, some of the things that you read, I don't know that those are, I think there's some codes that interfere with what you're saying in your
That's why attorney really needs to write it.
Right.
I found out the hard way, so.
So I think we need to do some further investigation.
Well, all my motion is that we consider it at the regular meeting in October,
Yes.
okay?
I just wanted
No, and I understand that, but that was my motion. And I understand that everybody's got their own particular situations.
But
my perspective is that this particular program should have never been offered, never been available to anyone that's a part-time employee. And that's what these positions are
That's water
part-time
under the
jobs.
bridge. And the
Right.
state code says that we are not either full-time or part-time. We're elected officials.
Okay.
So there is some terminology that you have wrong in
we are
here.
the only county.
I don't know that I'm
Sorry,
completely
Mary.
wrong or you're completely right, but
I'm just
I'd be
saying-
happy to look into it.
There's some things in there I don't believe are correct.
We're full-time council members, right?
We know, we're elected officials.
Elected officials,
That's it.
but our job is council members.
Or
Well,
classified
that needs more
Well,
work.
but a full-time employee in Fayette County is considered someone who works 33 and a half hours a week.
We are considered full-time, and I agree with you. I agree with you.
But we don't work 33 and a half hours a week at this job.
Understood.
It doesn't require it.
Understood, but that's the way it's worded, that's the way we're classified, we have to change that classification now.
We're not classified under hours.
No, we're considered hourly,
We're considered elected
or
officials.
we're considered full-time. Okay. You would know more than me, Kay, wouldn't you?
Do what?
You would know more than me.
On this one, I think I do.
Well, I don't want to create an argument, that's what I'm trying to do.
No,
I was
something
just-
needs more
No
work.
problem, Sharon. You
I
say
was
it back,
just,
okay?
No,
I was
yeah,
just
listen.
stating the facts in my case.
Right, and I
You know,
understand
And
that.
like I said, I had no idea we even had insurance.
Right.
I mean,
And I appreciate
This is new.
that. Listen, I don't think anybody here
Mm-hmm.
believes that you're here for any other reason than to help the people of Fayette County.
I
All right.
appreciate that. I
Exactly.
appreciate that.
But the fact of the matter is, this benefit costs the people of Fayette
Yes.
County $9,000 a year. That's a lot.
Yes, it is.
And, you know, together, the amount of money that we're spending on this particular benefit would pay to put in a sixth dispatcher at 911. And in my opinion, and my motion doesn't talk about that, we get it in the budget hearing, but it would affect all of us, not just those affecting this benefit, getting this benefit. And together, we could do something that would positively affect the public safety agency.
You're worried
And
about the
I agree,
9,000, I'm worried
I
about the
agree, I'm
295.
totally, I'm not against what you're saying at all, I get it. And there again, like when Mike went and talked with the mayor and stuff, I mean, we have different things that we could do in this community, just like the trestle, finding people, I mean, there's so many
Right.
different things that, you know, it's just getting it done so that there is,
Well, and that's my point. I mean, in the end, it's, the folks of Fayette County expect us to
Yes.
put ourselves on the line
Yes.
first. And so that's what I'm asking us to do.
So there's a motion and a second. You're requesting a roll call vote. Are we ready to vote?
Who's the second from?
Mike?
Okay. We've had a motion, a second to reconsider the benefits
Resolution?
resolution.
What is your
Be
exact-
brought up at the next council meeting, right?
What's your exact motion?
My exact motion is that at our regular October meeting, we consider a resolution formally asking the commissioners to revise the employee handbook, specifically adding a sentence to the final paragraph of Chapter 4, Section 15, to read, quote, "As of January 1, 2024, members of the Fayette County Council are considered part-time employees, making them ineligible for full-time health care insurance benefits," unquote.
We're saying consider, it's not saying to accept it and adopt it, it's saying to consider.
Consider the resolution.
Well, what I'm concerned about is the classification that we fall under, which I don't think we've determined that officially.
Well, that's what we could do, Jeff could look into that between now and next meeting, so that'd be a part of our consideration. If
If,
that's clarified and straightened out, then that's just clarified, it's not saying, yes, we are, or no, we're not, it's just saying to consider looking at putting something together to present to the commissioners, because the commissioners have to implement it.
Yes.
We don't.
It may be that you just don't, I mean, if this is what you guys want, it may be that you just don't change the classification, you just essentially, you restrict them from receiving the benefit.
Again, it
You
ultimately
don't have
falls
to,
in
you
the
don't have
lap
to
of the
necessarily
commissioners.
maybe distinguish between part-time or full-time, they're just an elected official that it's not appropriate for them to receive this benefit.
okay.
And I will tell you, I'll do some research on it, but most counties don't, so I don't think there's something that restricts us from being able to use it.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second to consider this the next council meeting in October. Any more comments? All those in favor signify by
Do
saying
we have a roll call?
Yeah, he asked for a roll call. Winter?
Yes.
Cranfield?
yes.
Patterson?
Yes.
Wolf?
Yes.
Bevington?
Yes.
Riker Payne?
Yes.
Stewart?
yes.
Okay. And hang on just one second. I left the transfer request off your agenda. I'm so sorry. Wait, had submitted. He wants to take that amount from radio maintenance to equipment.
In short, whenever I appropriated the money to pay for the tornado siren, I actually put the wrong account information on the appropriation. I'm just transferring it from one account to the other. $1,205.
It's just a transfer.
Motion to approve.
Have a motion accepted?
Yep.
Second?
Second.
Okay. Have a motion seconded to approve the transfer. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Wait, where's that going?
It's for the tornado
Where,
siren.
what was the siren going?
Top of the third and Summit.
We did the form out. Then he just handed me.
Third what?
Summit, it's on top of the hill where the old radio tower I think used to be.
Right.
Yeah. They're putting up a new pole. and
So we have
stuff.
form back for,
Yeah, they're going to select that and then we did it for them.
Okay, now, no other business. I can just go ahead and ask for a motion for adjournment for this
Motion to
meeting.
approve.
Second?
second.
Motion made second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? We're done. Thank you.